All right. Welcome, everybody. Live. We're like episode 2. For everybody who watched episode 1 last week or listened to episode 1 and commented, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And I'm excited today because Miss Karyn and I, we've known each other now about 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So she runs the REMAX Training Institute.
Right.
And is my guest today. And I'm excited because we're going to talk about the new Labor Day being the new year.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. And I don't know if I'm going to start this with a couple of numbers. So my numbers are 55, 83, 86, 110, and 116. Any idea what those numbers mean?
No idea.
All right.
I think they're tied to a goal, though, I'm going to say.
Well, happy Halloween, 55 days from now. Thanksgiving, 83 days from now. First day of winter, basically 86 days from now, December 1st. Merry Christmas, everybody. 110 days away, and the new year will be here in 116 days. Does it feel like it's going fast or what?
Yeah, this whole year is just flown by.
And
yes.
That's kind of what the conversation is about today of, taking this Labor Day and really using it as a jump start. A lot of people go into the fourth quarter, which is coming up soon, but a lot of people go into that fourth quarter thinking now is the time to start prepping for the next year and starting to get things in line and working on our goals and things like that and trying to make sure that we're all set up for 2020. And I think what your thought process is and what our conversation today is going to be about, oh no, it's now. We need to get started
right.
now.
If you're doing it on January 1st or January 2nd, you're a little late to the game, right? So what I was thinking about, last week as we approached the Labor Day weekend was really about how Labor Day, if you think about Labor Day as being kind of the other January, it should be a day that you could either take it two ways. You could take it as a day to kind of reflect on your work life and what you're doing, what you can improve moving forward. You could take the time to go, I'm going to take a 3-day weekend and not think about work at all. But I chose to kind of reflect on where I am in my business, where I want to go, and take that time. So I thought that we could talk through that a little bit today, and tie it to some possibly some new routines and new habits that you can put in place. And so what I'd like to do is, even though we're probably going to throw out a lot of different ideas here, I'd like you to think of one thing that you can take away from this that you could implement into your life, whether it's something we come up with, what we share and talk about, or it's something that you have that you want to do to push yourself forward. Okay.
And I want to emphasize, because I like the point that you just made, pick one thing and put it into place.
Right.
And then once that's going, then you can pick something else. Too often we get overwhelmed with all this different technology and things happening, the new silver bullet that's out there. And next thing you know, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. And then nothing happens.
Exactly. And I do, of course, I do the training with our REMAX agents, but I also have coaching clients throughout the United States. And the one thing that I see as a common theme to how people go about life is they're very overwhelmed, and the real estate business kind of lends itself to being easily overwhelmed. So hopefully today we can talk about that. And I think your point is great, because sometimes it's just one small thing that can change a lot. I'm going
to put you on the spot. Can you think of one thing that you changed thus far this year, or like starting in 2019, if there was a change that you made that, because you mentioned you took Labor Day to take some time to reflect. So I'm assuming that you reflected on some of those things that you had implemented in 2019.
Yes. So a couple things, and again, there's small things, but they've made a huge difference. One thing is, and I teach a time management class, so I figure I need to practice what I preach, right?
Time block, everyone.
I am a queen of time blocking now. And actually, I used to resist it because I felt like I'm working for myself, so I can kind of be free and make my own schedule and things like that. But I find that I'm in more control of my schedule when I time block. So I'm a killer time blocker now. The one thing though that I have implemented is putting 30 minutes between tasks so that I can catch up on things.
Okay.
So that really helps me out. If I need to send a quick email, if I need to
Mhm.
make a quick phone call, that I don't back up the appointments and the calls and the training that I do
Right.
back to back. So
Okay.
I was finding that I was really stressed out because sometimes I would be talking to somebody a little bit longer, a class would go a little bit
Right.
longer. And so that one thing
Mhm.
caused my day-to-day stress level to really even out.
So I'm writing that one down because one of the things that I did implement is time blocking. We've had this conversation before that
Mhm.
multitasking just doesn't work.
Right.
Our it's people think that they can multitask, but they can't. We just become less efficient at everything that we
Mhm.
do when we do that. And time blocking, that's one of the things that I felt that I was having difficulties with is like, you've got run over and
Right.
I was trying to be so precise. It's going to be from this time to this time exactly. And then I was stacking everything up, and one phone call, one interruption that you do have to take
Right.
messes that whole thing
Even
up.
one slowdown on the freeway and
E-
you're stressed out getting to the next place.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
like that, a 30-minute break in between the time
Right,
blocks.
right.
Okay.
The other thing I implemented this year, and I have to say, to be honest, I've kind of gone back and forth with it, but I've pretty much stayed on task, is I have a really difficult time reading books at night. And I really want to I have a lot of books that I want to read, but I
Okay.
don't read. If I read at night, I'm out within, the first page.
Gotcha.
So I wake up about an hour early to do my reading in the morning. And I find that I retain more,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's my time where I'm most creative
Right.
and so forth. And I feel like between that and working out in the morning, I've already won the day. So the rest of the day is like set off to a great start.
So that's Miracle Morning 101, which I didn't bring that book. We're going to talk about some of our reads a little bit later, but
Right.
that's really what he talks about is waking up an hour before, and he breaks it up into certain things that you should be doing, but obviously one of them is exercise and one of them is reading, and then you've got your
Sure.
journaling and meditating and things of that nature. But when you start your morning off like that, it sets the pace for
It
everything.
really does. It
Yeah.
really does. So, and I'm going to give away a book. I'm going to give away a book at the end of this.
Nice.
So you guys hang in there with us, and put some notes in the comments as we go along through this Facebook Live, and we'll give away a book at the end. But going back to why Labor Day is the other January, we are at the tail end of summer,
Mhm.
although right now it doesn't feel like it. But where it's hot and humid, but
Right.
it's crazy hot. Anyways, but we are at the tail end of summers. Vacations have come and gone, right?
Mhm.
Kids have gone back to school. Our mindset kind of shifts from end of summer to fall, and our real estate industry in general slows down this
Yes.
time of year. So take some time to reflect on what you want to accomplish the fourth quarter. And I would say that utilize that time for some business planning. And I'm going to be running some classes. I know you do a lot of classes here. But start this time to find one new habit that might make the difference next year for
Okay.
you and your business.
Okay.
And also think about health habits related to work. So we talked about working out. We talked
Mhm.
about, if it's something that you want to do, small steps to eat right, to bring your lunch with you, or whatever that is. If you set the stage for your own health, you can better help other people. You
That's
can
right.
better serve other people. And that's what we do in real estate, is really serving people, helping people move on to their next place, right? So include some health habits too.
So what do you have in the health habits? What things have you implemented?
So, I'm a big hiker. I
Yes.
love hiking. So I do, I'm out hiking every weekend.
Okay.
And for me, it's getting outside. Relieves a lot of stress. So for some people, it's meditation, it's yoga, it's whatever. I can't seem to calm down enough to do those things. But for me, it's just getting out in the open,
Okay.
and that helps me a lot. So I've increased the amount of time that I'm outside.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
I've been eyeballing a new race. I haven't figured out which one yet, but I'm looking at some things and trying to figure that part out. But I also have a bet with one of the people here in the office. We've got a little ongoing bet. I won't get into the details there, but right now I think I'm winning. We'll see. But yeah,
All right.
I think I'm winning the bet. We'll have to check in there.
Any
But
new routines that you've implemented this year?
I implemented the Miracle Morning.
Okay.
That was one of the first reads that I did after R4 last year, and I had implemented that, put together a new plan, and mine was actually pretty extreme. The book recommends waking up an hour early and adding these things to your morning routine. I woke up like an hour and a half to 2 hours earlier. It was a pretty big adjustment for me, and had implemented a few more things. So I probably overdid it, to be honest with you, because what had happened was I tried to cram too much into the morning,
Mhm.
and then I was feeling at first, the first couple of days when I was doing it, I was feeling really good about it, and then I actually started to feel a little bit overwhelmed
Yeah.
and was looking at that.
I think
So
that's a good point. Going back to maybe implementing one thing at a time, right?
exactly.
I think that's a really good point. One other thing related to that a little bit is, and this may sound weird, but you know how you set your alarm for waking up in the morning?
Yes.
I actually have an alarm that tells me when I need to go to bed.
Okay.
So I actually, sleep matters to me. I have to get sleep to feel good, to handle stress, handle life,
Right,
right?
right.
So for me, getting a good night's sleep is really important, and kind of setting that routine at night too. So anyways, that's just
All right.
whether that's my oddball thing or not, it tends to work for me. All right, so I want you to think about what you can do better. And again, if there's one thing that you could change about what you do moving forward, either in the fourth quarter or next year, what would that be?
Easy peasy.
That's easy.
Easy.
Okay.
Video, 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 and more video.
Awesome.
And I don't know if you made it to the Tom Ferry Summit, but that was the big takeaway from the summit,
Okay.
was video, 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 that's a necessity. And video like we're doing today, video of properties, video of communities, just, whether you're integrating BombBomb or something of that nature into your business, that whole personal touch via video has to be a part of your business now.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And you've really done a great job this year. Right? I know you were going to ramp it up, and you did.
And,
Yeah.
and we're doubling down now.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me give you some thoughts and ideas
Sure.
of what you can, do some, just, to spark some ideas for you. Are there some steps that will allow you to be more organized, right? So that's one thing that you could think about. Is that just as simple as cleaning off your desk, clearing off some shelves? A lot of times, my desk, it's an overwhelming situation, but if I get it cleaned up, I feel like my mind is clear. I think clear. So are there some small steps you can take to be organized? Is there some new technology that you can implement? We've got this new Bouge platform that's coming out. I'm going to talk a few minutes later about that. But is there some new technology that you could be using? And also look back, is there some technology that you're paying for that you're not using? And you could remove from what you're paying for on a monthly basis.
Reallocate some of those funds.
Sure. Is there something that you could do to allow you to grow in your business, right? And I want you guys to think that the first thing that might have come to your mind is probably the thing that has been weighing on you.
Right.
Can you take some action? And we talk about the market shifting a little bit now. We are definitely seeing some shifts. So if that's causing you some anxiety, I read somewhere that the antidote to anxiety is action.
Absolutely.
So get out there and, commit to some time to that. For me, that the learning process of things, the commute time is a real struggle. So I turn on a podcast. If there's a topic that I want to go deeper into, I seek those podcasts out and I listen to them in the car. It makes my drive much more pleasant.
Nice.
Makes me a more pleasant person too. Another thought would be is there something you can say no to in your life? Is there something that you're doing that just may not matter that much to you? and you could say no to it and stop doing it next year.
And again, want to emphasize a point here that Karyn has just said. So, is there something that we can say no to? And I like to approach that as having an understanding of every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
And it's okay. We have to recognize, and I think that once we do recognize that yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Whether you know it or not, you've said no to something else. So
Right.
you have to be very, very careful
And
in
be
what we're saying yes
purposeful
to.
as to what you spend
Exactly.
your time on.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, so it could be something as small as clearing off your desk. It could be something as big as joining a team
Mhm.
or starting a team. All of those things that you might be thinking about. So any other thoughts on that? That's what I
Well,
had for that.
my thought, I think it's important, and you mentioned a couple of things when we talk about new technology. I always that I want to again emphasize: don't take on more than you can, because there's a lot of technology out
Right.
there, and be quick to make a decision, implement, measure, adjust, implement again.
Right.
So some say it is be quick to fire or get rid of. Hey, if this isn't going to work and you're not feeling it, the sooner you get rid of it, the better off you are. But at the same time, you also have to make sure that you're giving things enough time to, don't go into that geographic farm and think that you can conquer it
Right.
in 3 months.
Right.
It's not real. So, but with technology, you implement something new, take the time to actually work it from beginning to end, A to Z, make sure that it's something that's a good fit for you, and then move forward and then move on to the next technology. And don't spend all night trying to figure out which is the best one. Because,
Right.
CRMs get asked that question all the time. And we all know the best CRM is the one that you use.
Exactly. And I think that's an important point to bring up. So for anybody that's listening right now and they're thinking, well, I'm not sure exactly what I could be implementing next year. I don't know what to do. I'll tell you one of the best things that you could do for your business is to implement a CRM, so that you have a database. If you don't have a database, you don't have a business, right? So this new Booge platform that's coming out is going to have a very robust CRM that all Remax agents get for free. So why not use it? Why not take this opportunity to really utilize it? Now, what I want to be really clear about is why that's important. And we all know of the disruptors that are out there, right?
Absolutely.
The companies that are out there spending billions of dollars trying to take away our business. The best thing that you can do to disrupt the disruptors of your business is to stay in constant contact with the people you know, because this is a relationship business, right? We know that. We know that if we stay in trusted relationships with people, they'll call us when they need to sell or buy one of the biggest investments of their life.
Correct.
Right? So to protect that relationship, your best bet is to have a database that you are using technology to stay in front of the people you know, to be positioned as that wise advisor or that go-to person when they have a real estate need. So one thing you can do next year to protect your business. And so I'm going to run some classes. In fact, I have a class on the 23rd, Monday the 23rd, on maximizing your database and getting it set up so that when you do use the new CRM, if you're going to use the new CRM, I've got a spreadsheet that you can take away and you can fill out and then import all of those contacts right in.
Very nice.
And for those of you who already have a CRM and you think maybe if this one's free and you're paying $30 a month for something else, you may want to think about importing those contacts into the new Booge CRM. So we'll talk a lot. It's not going to be really technology training, but it's more focused on getting your database set up.
Right.
Yeah.
And, on CRMs again, the one that you're using, if you're using one, I've looked at the Bouge platform. And I like it.
Mhm.
They've basically have taken Follow Up Boss and they have put it on steroids. It's a great product, and I'm really liking what they're coming up with and what they're doing. But I can't emphasize enough. What's most important is making sure that you are using the technology that you have.
Right.
So I like that. What else do we have?
Okay, so just a couple other things. I just wanted to tie some of what we talked about today. If you want to go deeper into a couple of these topics, I have a class on the 11th. That's Wednesday, the 11th, on mindset and routines. Dig deeper into evening routines, morning routines, and
So,
setting yourself up to be successful.
question for Karyn. We have an audience, by the way, today too. So question to everybody. Night routine. Do you have affirmations?
I don't do those. I should.
Okay.
Huh?
So
I don't.
I'm gonna challenge you because we're talking about small adjustments that we're making right now.
Mhm.
And one of them obviously is affirmations in the morning. Do you do your affirmations in the
I
morning?
don't do them in the evening or the morning. I probably should.
Okay. So we're gonna change it up. I'm gonna challenge you to
Okay.
add that to your routine. Affirmations in the evening. Last thing that you do before you go to bed, read your affirmations.
Okay.
Now, these can be different than the ones in the morning. And then the ones in the morning, those things have to be out there and be a reminder for you. You know, they can be on your mirror in the bathroom. They can be somewhere that you're going to be someplace in the morning so that they're there to
Okay.
remind you. But that one in the evening, keep it short, keep it simple. But you know, we talk about the fact that our morning sets the tone for the rest of our
Mhm.
day and the actions that we take. But believe it or not, the last thing that happens before we go to bed at night really helps set that tone as well. It changes our mindset when we go to sleep all the way, and that carries over usually into the morning and starts that morning off with just a little bit
I
more
love
energy.
it. I love it. All right.
I'm
Okay.
challenging you that
Okay,
one.
I'll report back. All right. Sounds good. Okay, let's get to the books. You had a question.
Was
There's
there
a
a
question
question?
in the audience. No? Okay.
I was talking about affirmation. I said
You do the affirmations. Okay, I'm gonna commit to doing it.
that helps to mindset and switch off the TV half an hour before you are going to sleep, and meditation and affirmation together. It really, really gives you a good sleep, and your mind is set up in a different way for the morning.
I love it. Okay.
All right.
I'm excited.
So we want to talk books.
Yeah, we both decided we were going to bring a couple books that we wanted to recommend.
What was the goal this year for reading? How many books?
I didn't have a goal for the books. I had more of a goal for some of the topics I wanted to learn about.
Okay.
So I wanted to learn more about building teams. I
Okay.
wanted to learn, and then a few that were recommended to me. So I kind of just, it was hit or miss. But do you have a goal for the number of books?
I read 20 minutes a day is my goal, and 13 books. It comes out to about 13, 14 books a year for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll
just
have to do
over
a count.
just
I'm not
over one a
sure.
month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. And you've been doing that for a while too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a Tony Robbins event, and that was one of the things I took away from there and just continued to do it.
Implement it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Very good. Well, do you want to start out with one of your books that you brought as a recommendation? So here's what
Sure.
we're doing is we're recommending some reading materials. So if you want to implement, the one thing that you're going to implement is maybe reading a little bit in the morning to grow your business. We'll go through what we recommend.
All right. So just finished this book, Rehumanizing Your Business. This is by the founder of BombBomb. So you can guess what this book's about.
Mhm.
Video. He talks about video and more importantly, talks about not a part of the book is about how to do videos, but the real emphasis behind the book is with regard to the importance of it and how it changes our relationships and
Making connections.
Exactly, that whole belly to belly and getting that belly to belly through the screen.
Right.
So finished this one not too long ago and actually enjoyed it. It was a good book. It for me, you know, I'm being 100% honest, it got a little bit repetitive for me at the end, but overall, I enjoyed it very much.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
What did you have?
Okay, so I've got a couple. I've got this one is The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey Jr., I believe it is. It was a New York Times bestseller. This was a real eye opener to me. This one.
You gave me that book.
Yes, I did it a year or so ago.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that can change everything. And I think that it's related to business. There's some overflow into personal, relationships, but not much. It's mostly a business book. But really, when you talk about working relationships with buyers, sellers, a lot of that, so much of it comes down to trust. They have to be able to trust you, right? The reason that we do so well with referrals and so forth is because it comes from a place of trust.
Right.
So this really goes into what you can do to gain people's trust. And it goes deeper into that topic. So I think for building any kind of business, this is key to understand the importance of really what trust does for a business.
Okay.
So, and this is the book that I'm going to give away at the end.
So
not this particular one, because I have notes written in it and stickies.
How are we going to give the book away? How are we going to decide?
What would you suggest?
Okay, so we'll see if there's any followers out there, but how about we pick somebody that comments and shares this someplace?
Okay.
Okay, so that's how we'll determine that. Daniel, you got that? So we'll find somebody that, if you're listening, hopefully you are, share this someplace and drop a comment in there someplace, and we'll pick somebody from there.
I love it.
Okay.
That sounds great. What's the next book you have?
Second book. Everybody knows one of my favorites, Mr. Gary V. He's come out with actually quite a few books now, and Crushing It, which this was the sequel to Crush It, which was his first book, and enjoyed this read as well. It's funny, going back and looking at it, I actually enjoyed Crush It more than I enjoyed Crushing It, but never go wrong with Gary V. Anything that he's produced, and he's all about creating content. Content is king, marketing is queen, and content, which is one of the things that we're trying to do and implement, being authentic in what you do and being transparent. So really enjoyed
He's great
it. He
too.
is great. He is.
All right. What else do I have? I've got the E-Myth Revisited. This is a great book. It's one of the, it's an older book, but it's been revised. But you can see all my earmarks and so forth. But it says why most small businesses don't work and what to do about it. It really goes to the heart of why franchises are very successful. And the reasons franchises are very successful is because they have systems in place. And that's one of the things that we as agents tend to not implement into our business, is putting together systems to run our business. So this is a great book. It's very enlightening, and it's a very, very good one. So that's that. Grit.
As you can see, so we have something in common. our little notes and a little bit of coffee that I spilled on this one. So just don't buy the books, read the books, open them, mark them. If you look at all my books, they all have notes in them. Because I have a tendency of reading through the whole book and then going back and actually rereading and making notes and going back to the sections that I tagged and trying to get more out of it. But honestly, I read this one a while ago, and I am struggling right now to try to remember what I remember about this one. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, other than I'm going to say I liked it because it's got little marks in it. So
it looks like you did. All right. So then really quickly, the one I'm reading right now is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. It's very, very, very good. And the basis of it is, we all have the same amount of hours in every week,
yes,
right?
We do.
Some people can make $1 million a year in the same amount of hours that somebody else makes $50,000 a year. So what is it that you can do in those hours to make you successful? Really enlightening, great book. Sometimes it even just goes back to the basics, but it also has some team information in it as well. So if you're looking to start a team, be on a team, there's some good information in there.
Very good. I'm remembering. So brought back memories. I believe what Grit was about, and don't quote me on this because, yeah, shame on Nestor. They were analyzing different businesses out there and top Fortune 500 companies, and what the difference was in these companies that were actually working at a different level than everybody else and having super accomplishments. Again, going back to we all have the same 24 hours.
Right,
So,
right. Love it.
But my last book, I don't know if he's on the air right now or listening, a local here, Mr. Daniel Joseph Manginelli. This was his second book. This was a sequel. The first one was Wake Up, and this one was Shake It Up. And what I enjoyed about this book was it was very practical, first of all, and it was very hands-on. It was very, here are action steps to take. And the premise of the book, I really think, fits with what we were talking about today, going into Labor Day being the new year, because this book really starts out with winter and what winter time really is. And for us, winter's usually the most difficult time when you're looking at it. Winter is usually the most difficult time of the year for us, from a business standpoint and just in general. It's colder. It gets dark sooner. We tend to slow down. We tend to hibernate. And he's talking about that's the perfect time to shake things up and get going. So very practical book. I think what I'll do is I've got several copies of this, so I will give away a copy of this as well.
Great.
And we'll go from there. But
Fantastic. All right. My last book is not related to business at all. I thought I would just bring something that I'm reading for fun for myself right now. It's called The Nature Fix. And I said earlier, I just love getting out in nature. It just relaxes me. It's by Florence Williams. And it says, Why Nature Makes Us Happier, Healthier, and More Creative. And I'll leave it at that. I've seen her speak a couple times. She's really interesting. And just how physiologically they've put electrodes on people and track their stress levels and how they come down when you are in open spaces and so forth. So this is something that I'm reading for fun right now.
All right.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap things up, if there's something that you would like to change about what you do and you need some assistance with it, we're available to always help you guys.
Absolutely.
We're out there and we'll help you get focused, get organized, and move forward into the new year, even though it's still only September.
But we're treating it like it's a new year.
That's right.
Are you looking at your business plan?
I am.
Okay.
I am. So I'm not going to, I'm just starting to think about some of the goals that I want to achieve next year. So I'm formulating those now. I don't want to say anything yet, but I've got some plans that are just loosely there that I need to kind of solidify in the next few months.
And mindset? What are we doing to keep the mindset?
Still doing kind of the same things. I'm feeling like it's working for me. I have my, I call it my, Karyn's wellness program, which is getting outside. And the other thing that I implemented was just I'd never done anything for myself in terms of like getting massages or anything like that. So I joined that Massage Envy for once a month for $59. I go get a massage. And
good for you.
After raising 2 kids and all of that and not having any time for myself, I'm kind of able to do that now. And I figured if I got on a program like that it would just force me to do it every month. So those are some, other than that, I'm just working and having fun.
So last question for you. You mentioned podcast earlier, that you're getting in the car and you listen to podcast. Favorite podcast?
Oh, there's a bunch.
Favorite podcast, real estate related?
Ooh, real estate related? You know what? I've been off of the real estate podcast for just a little bit. I do some work with another coaching company, so I listen to a lot of the podcasts that they do.
So just favorite podcast in general,
In general, I listen to a happiness podcast.
Okay.
It's called The Happiness Project. What else do I listen to? There's The One Thing.
Okay.
There's a One Thing podcast that's very, very good, real estate related. Excellent. I also listen to there's a podcast, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it in the notes later. But it's all about small businesses and the success and how they got started and all of that. And I just find that interesting.
Very good.
Yeah. So I'm all over the map when it comes to podcasts.
That's how we grow.
Yeah.
Right? All right, everybody. I want to say thank you. Daniel, do we know if we have a winner? See if there's somebody. Woo! All right. So
fantastic.
He's passing me a piece of paper and telling me who my winner is. Actually, is writing it down and showing it up. Ms. Bhavna Kumar, congratulations. So we will go ahead and get that out to Bhavna. And I want to say thank you to everybody. If there's anything that anybody would like to, a topic or anything, throw it in the chat in there and let us know. Let us know how we're doing. I'm open to criticism. So be nice, but I am open to criticism. And I want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
I was excited. It's fun.
Yeah.